Disease X, is it already here? That is the question that we've been getting so often over the past few months. And we need to address this because according to scientists, they say that the next pandemic, this next virus, could be far deadlier than COVID. Now I want to explain what's going on, what is Disease X, why some people believe that the next pandemic is already here, and what world leaders are actually doing about this. So make sure you stick around for this entire video, and I'll explain exactly what is going on. But all I ask is one thing. It takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now let's begin. So let's get right down to it. Disease X, according to scientists and leaders, prepare for a possible virus far deadlier than COVID. Now, this is what we were told back in early January, that the next pandemic is going to be worse, far worse. And there's a couple reasons why. I want to point these out. First is the World Health Organization and the CDC. They are now considered a problem, according to millions of Americans. Millions of Americans do not believe what the World Health Organization nor the CDC is telling them. So the next time there is a pandemic or a possibility of a pandemic, millions of people are going to look at the CDC, look at the World Health Organization, say, you know what? You didn't give us the right information. You didn't give us the facts last time. You lied to us for several months, several years. So we're not going to believe you. And experts believe, then it will be too late. We will see the next virus spread. Now, why are so many people saying that the next pandemic is already here? Well, it's because experts believe that one of the greatest risks that we are facing right now is the bird flu, is the H5N1 avian flu. Look at this. Here's a problem. USDA and the FDA turf battles hamper responses to outbreaks like the H5N1 bird flu. Why is this? Why would the USDA and FDA, why would they be involved in what the World Health Organization and the CDC are having to say? Well, it's because it involves food. It's because it involves animals and cattle. If you don't know what's going on, the H5N1 bird flu used to only be in birds and poultry. Well, that wasn't a huge deal. Yes, it's important, but we didn't have to worry about it as humans because we are not like birds, okay? We're not made up the same way as a bird. So that wasn't a huge issue. And then it got transferred and mutated into a virus that impacted cattle. Well, we're a little bit more like cattle than we are birds. And then we also got confirmation that there were dolphins in the ocean that also contracted the virus, that they had the H5N1 bird flu. Well, that's a little bit concerning as well because now it's infecting more people, or actually more animals, and then it impacted us directly because now there are people that have contracted this virus. Yeah, that's concerning. Well, let's look at this. It says wastewater testing finds H5N1 avian flu in 9 Texas cities. This is just from yesterday. This is not going away. This continues to pretty much haunt us. But should we be concerned with the H5N1 bird flu? Well, the answer is yes and no. Should we be concerned? A little bit. Because yes, it is a virus that's out there. But is it going to impact humans? As of right now, the answer is no, it won't. Or at least not in the conventional way. What we are hearing right now is that unless you are working directly with cattle, you're likely not to be infected by this. But for those people that do get infected and then they go and spread it, this is a cause for concern. I want to read you something. Look at this. It says the bird flu vaccine candidates already exist. But if H5N1 H5N1 sparks a pandemic. Making enough doses won't be easy. Canada among countries with pandemic plans, as scientists warned vaccine rollouts would be complex. This is just from a few days ago. And the reason why I really want to explain this is because the United States and Canada, the United States I know for sure, both have vaccines available if a person does contract the H5N1 virus. But it's if it turns into a pandemic, that's where this could be deadlier than COVID. I want to read something to you. It says, nobody is suggesting that H5N1 is the new next pandemic. I don't believe anybody can predict that. And that's 100% right. It says, but it's certainly concerning when a virus like this begins to infect multiple mammalian species, which means the virus that is adapting to animals that are more like us than birds, and therefore there's a higher level of alert. It says, given the risk, World Health Organization officials say that behind the scenes processes are in place, including agreements with drug makers to produce billions of H5N1 vaccine doses within the first year of a pandemic, should this virus gain the ability to spread between humans. The key here, there's processes in place, okay, behind the scenes, including agreements from drug makers to produce billions of vaccine doses within the first year. There's a reason why they say within the first year as opposed to immediately. And I want to touch on this. It says other scientists warn that that's easier said than done, given the complexities involved in manufacturing and distributing a new set of vaccines. Even though we have a massive global infrastructure capable of producing flu vaccines, we will never be ready for a pandemic. Here's the reason why. If you have, let's say you are a manufacturer and you manufacture, the COVID vaccine, right? Or let's say you just manufacture, medicine to, treat a headache. It doesn't matter, right? So let's say that's what you do, or allergy medicine. Again, doesn't matter. If you are trying to manufacture the COVID vaccine and you're producing that, trying to get it out to the public, fine. But what happens when that is not the priority and you have to go and turn to a vaccine to fight off the H5N1 bird flu? The problem is that manufacturer need to make sure there's enough of a stockpile with the COVID vaccine first before they shut down production and flip over to the next one. This isn't something that you can, we're going to shut down production for this vaccine, and for the next 8 hours we're going to run this vaccine. No, it doesn't work like that. And so because of that, what experts are saying is that we would need a stockpile. Here's the problem. Nobody is going to create a stockpile for the H5N1 bird flu. It's not serious enough at this point. And so based off what experts are saying is that this is why for the first month or two, it may be very similar to what we experienced back in 2020, where we are quarantined. We are pretty much in lockdown until we can be assured that vaccine is on its way. I want to read you a couple other things. It says right here, you can't just press the button and begin producing pandemic vaccines. You have to stop producing your seasonal vaccine, and all of you out there know how life-saving that vaccine is. So you require very careful consideration. So this requires very careful consideration. Think about it. Let's say you needed something for Alzheimer's. You need something for your allergy. You just have extreme allergies. And you just can't function without your allergy medication. Again, this is just a very basic example. But what if it's something that's life-threatening? What if it's something for your heart? What happens then? They have to shut down production for heart medication to go and produce something for the H5N1 bird flu? You see how complex that could be? This is why experts believe this isn't going to happen overnight. It says some countries have H5N1 vaccines already on hand. including the US, which has 2 types of shots that are well matched with the current circulating strain in dairy cattle. Keep in mind, just because we have the vaccine doesn't mean everyone's going to take it, number one. Number two, just because we have it doesn't mean it will be readily available. So if, let's say I'm here in the Seattle, Washington area, okay, great. The problem is, what if I don't have it? What if I need it immediately? But the closest one's over in, Colorado. Well, I gotta wait for it. I gotta get that flown in. It's gonna cost money. It's gonna take time. These are states that have confirmed H5N1 bird flu cases in dairy cattle. It's North Carolina, Ohio, Michigan, South Dakota, Kansas, Texas, New Mexico, Colorado, Idaho. Those are just what we know of as of April 29th. It's not even as of today. So this is the concern right now, is we don't know exactly what we're up against, but what we do know is that scientists have been watching the H5N1 virus. They've been watching for the next pandemic. They have been preparing, which they are calling Disease X. They are already preparing for the next pandemic, which they're giving it the title Disease X. We don't know when it's going to happen. We don't know even if it's going to happen. We don't know who it's going to impact. We don't know if it will be here in the United States either. All we know at this time is scientists and experts all around the world are coming together and planning for something that could be deadlier than COVID. So I will leave you with that, but just understand at this time, that is really all we know regarding the H5N1 bird flu. So as soon as we know more information on that, I promise I'll bring you all the latest news and updates, but that is what we know as of today. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.